The specialist Bill and Blake are back, and today we are recapping the finale of Deal or No Deal Island. And my God, that is not where I expected this to go. I'm so excited to see what Deal or No Deal is going to do next season to top what David just did. This was supposed to happen in season 6 or 7, not episode number 2. David wins $5.8 million, sets the new record for most money won on a network television show. And it's only season 2 of Deal or No Deal Island. He made some absolutely insane decisions in this game. And I'm ready to dive into all of it with Blake. Blake, okay, I know that throughout this season, it's been kind of an up and down ride for us. You're watching a Deal or No Deal Island game where somebody is turning down millions of dollars when they only have one big case left and everything else is triple digits or lower. What was going through your head? And do you have the heart or the, I don't know, what did Dr. Will say? The hair on his balls to figure this out? This was insane.
I think he said he has the hairiest balls in America or something. I was like, okay, Dr. Will, get that screen time. It was very funny who they were giving screen time to in the audience. Of like, Parvati didn't say a word, but Lachelle is like talking every other time. Luke is like, I remember me, and that was so funny.
All Parvati said the entire time was, please take the deal, David. Please take the deal. Because that's what we were all saying. She was the voice of reason.
I mean, there's no reason. You don't make $6 million if you have reason or whatever. But I thought it was crazy. Obviously, this is crazy. Of like, you do want to have this franchise go for 10 years, I think, if you're NBC. But I think you're clearly in the thought process of, if you're a fan watching this, and I don't know if there's fans yet, but like, this is going to be clearly the unbroken record for 10 years. Because it would need somebody to be, I'm a millionaire already and I'm luckier than David, so I'm willing to go one more step. And then I had the number in my case all along, which is a 1 in 24 shot or something. Is it 24 cases or 26?
There were 26, actually. 26.
Which, has there always been 26? That was an interesting, like, okay, I thought it was symmetrical, but 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4.
This was the first time that they went that many cases. Normally it's much fewer, but today
it's
they
24.
did.
Oh yeah, in our game, yes, but I'm wondering about the Deal or No Deal regular. I should know this already, but does it go to 26? 25 makes sense because it's 5 times 5, and we have 5 rows of 5. Oh, and then you have your own case. That makes sense. 5 rows of 5 models, and you have your own case. Got it. So I don't think this will ever be topped. I think we literally just saw Deal or No Deal Island could go for 5, 10, 15 more years. And I think you'll still be like bringing David on as like, why are you not going to have David be the banker next season? Of course, David's going to be the banker next season. Still have, I haven't watched any of them, but I'm sure Boston Rob's doing a great job doing his interview thing. Have Boston Rob do that, have David be the banker. And now, that's a lot of male energy. Maybe Parvati gets one of these jobs or whatever too. But now you're growing your franchise out. Why am I talking about franchise expansion? But it's more just, this is the best final scenario for Deal or No Deal impossible. I do think there will be people that go, wait, what? Let me go rewatch the whole season so I could see this, because this is so insane. We have said watching the Deal or No Deal is the worst part of Deal or No Deal Island because it's so like you can't whatever. I think it was literally, you could not look away. It was not making sense. None of it. You could not do this on your Deal or No Deal video game. You can't do this on the Deal or No Deal game at Dave and Buster's. It's such a joke of, I literally texted you after I got done watching it. I was like, remember that crazy ass game Dixon played? It's like Dixon and now David's game are like 2 of the top 5 most insane games of Deal or No Deal Island ever played. And like, I think if you're the people you're in the insurance companies, I saw that there was like, I think it was like on Monday or something, they put out an article where it was like, the insurance company people were like, please, Chrissy Teigen, we'll talk about Chrissy Teigen, get him to take the deal. And it was it's just crazy of how is there this much money. And I forgot my train of thought because I said Chrissy
I
Teigen.
mean, the thing is, so yeah,
Just like, what?
you're off track now, but I want to find this because I actually think this is even crazier. All right, I
And
need
he's
to
gonna go
look.
play another game. You got $6 million, and you're like, let's keep going. Come on, David, just go enjoy your family.
Well, he had already decided he was doing it, right? He couldn't stop. Now he's addicted. He's addicted to the high, man. He can't help it. I want to say it was Dalton Ross, and I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. So I don't know if it. I think it was Dalton Ross. And I just want to make sure that I have this right. But I'm pretty certain that David at the end here, it was cut from the show because we didn't need to see it. I'm pretty certain that at the end, when there were 2 cases left. Okay, yeah, here it is. All right, you ready? Perhaps the biggest thing to not make this is from Dalton Ross from Entertainment Weekly. I'm reading this straight out. This is insanity. Perhaps the biggest thing that not to make the final edit is what would have happened had David not accepted the final offer of $5.8 million. There were 2 cases left at that point. One contained 75 and the other contained $12,232,001. The episode showed that David's case contained the $75, meaning that he had not accepted banker Chrissy Teigen's final offer and stuck with that case. He would have left with just 75, but that's not what would have happened. Listen to this. This is insane. Okay, in a moment that was cut for time, David told the host before the final 2 case amounts were revealed that he would have switched from case 18 to case 7 and said, I firmly believe the $12 million in case 7, he told the host. The cases were then opened and David was right, meaning he would have taken home that full $12 million. How insane is that? He literally was given the option to switch cases, and David was going to switch his case with case number 7 if he would have accepted that final deal.
And I here's something I think is an interesting thing. If we're part of this, like, is this journalism? Is this whatever? Is this just reacting to a show? Journalism? You're a podcast. Be for real. But like, we saw the magic last night, and now there's an article that's like it could have been more magical, and it's like,
Yeah.
why do you need to write that? Why can't we just live in this will be the most? It could have been double plus that, Blake. And you're like, God damn it! I just want to like now. I'm gonna always be like, but he could have had more. And I think
it's the fact of the matter that he won $5.8 million, but somehow something was on David's side last night. There's a movie called Quiz Show out there. I'm not saying that this is what happened. There's a movie called Quiz Show.
I was like, is this shit rigged?
Because yeah, have you seen Quiz Show from 1994?
I saw some light glinting off this case. I mean, like, there's a producer in your ear, bro.
Anybody who wants to say that it was potentially rigged, I can guarantee you with 1 billion% certainty, NBC didn't want to be shelling out $5.8 million that night, and they certainly didn't want to do $12 million. So yeah, supposedly there's something with insurance where like they're covered up to a certain point, and so now like NBC gets to make an insurance claim as if like they just got like hammered by a hurricane or something. So anyway,
I mean that's how all of that works, and like I know all the insider baseball of that. Of like, I used to work on a show where it has like 100-something episodes, and the whole quiz department, the whole maybe not casting, can't get that close into it, but the people that are the quiz writers can't talk to some of the people that are on the show. And the whole thought process of when you're insured, you're like, the amount of episodes divided by the final prize given out needs to be a certain amount, or people will be like, we're not going to insure you because you're making the final prize so hard or so easy to obtain. So that is a thought process of like, when they were talking to their thing, they're probably like, there's only one case that has 12 million. Every single time there's a banker deal, it's probably going to be half of it minus 4%, because that's kind of what it always feels like when you're thinking about it. It's all math. And they're like, they would be a literal psychopath to take this money. Well, like most people take the 1 point something offer that was given out first.
Because at that point, there were 3 $1 million cases, one 12 point something $million case, and the rest were triple digits. So of course you're going to take that offer, because if you cut out the 12 point whatever, the most you can make is $1 million. So of course you're going to take the higher than 1 million.
The also insider baseball thing of, I'm sure there's some people that know where that case is. And whenever you're let's shuffle all 26 cases up, and there's certain numbers. I'm sure whenever that crazy amount is behind 13, everyone's like, let's go. Nobody picks 13 as their case because it's unlucky.
And then it was
7.
But
it was 7. And that's an insane thing of most people go, my lucky number is 7, or 7 is a lucky number in America. Thank God he's Australian. He would have had it since the beginning, and they would have been like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. But when that case rolls up, when they randomize it, and your case is number 7, and you're the insurance company, you're probably like, holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think there is only like, because you don't want your EPs to like tip off the host. The host can't know where it is. It is all insider baseball, like not really fun to talk about, but it's
what does it come down to? You have about a 3.8% chance of picking the right case. It's about that, right? 1 out of 26, whatever that is. What is 1 out of 26? I don't know. It's like 3.8,
3.834.
Yeah, 3.84. Okay. So yeah, 1 out of 26. But Blake, you're 100% right. With 7, I would guarantee you if you play Deal or No Deal 26
times,
7 is, okay, let's say 100 times. It's easier. If you play a Deal or No Deal 100 times, I would bet you probably close to a third, not a third, but like a fifth to a quarter of people would pick 7.
Yeah.
That's
what, so you go from 3.8% to 20%.
Yeah. Even if it was 1 in 10 picked it, you're talking a 10%. That's triple the odds of winning when that goes into 7.
Right. You know what cases people aren't picking is like 1 in 26. Like nobody
or 18, whatever he picked tonight that had 75 in it.
Yeah. I mean, now we're getting a Deal or No Deal math, which is hilarious because it's like the math is so dumb. Like I think another thing, like, is this going to be a cultural moment? I think NBC would love that. I think I already mentioned, like, some people may go watch back the last 11 episodes. There could be some people tuning into our podcast from 10 weeks ago. They're like, what do these guys know? Because they want to catch up on the zeitgeist of what happened or whatever. Or maybe I think the real thing that I would do is, like, if I'm a statistician professor, what is it? Stats
Professor.
If I'm a stats professor, I would, this would literally be either not on the final exam, but like, what is the probability of this person getting this amount of money based on what we just learned or whatever? Statistics. There we go. I don't know why that word was stuck in my head. I'm not a linguistics guy, I guess.
That's clear.
Lingo. Yeah, this is a math problem for every, I don't know if you could do it when you're a senior in high school or if it's college level, but this is some Deal or No Deal math that can get people ready for some math. Like I would have loved this in high school to try and figure this out, but that's long
they
gone.
Just missed World Math Day. I can't believe that they didn't put this out on that day. World Math Day is, oh no, it's March 26th. It's literally today.
Let's go.
World Maths Day. We did it.
Oh my God. Everyone in the, okay, all 22 of y'all that are currently here, go tell people about World Math Day and have them try to figure this out. And then they tell 22 people, and we can change the world and get people just fired up for math.
Let me just say this because now we're like 10 minutes almost after you said it. You said we've been talking about all season how Deal or No Deal is like the worst part to watch. I will say that last night, that Deal or No Deal Island game, that game of Deal or No Deal is the electricity that you looked for when you tuned into Deal or No Deal back in the day when Howie Mandel was doing it. That's what you hoped for. That was must-watch TV. Like you said, will that ever become a cultural moment? No, I don't think it will, because I don't think Deal or No Deal Island itself is big enough. If this would have happened on Deal or No Deal way back in the day, yes, absolutely. But because this is Deal or No Deal Island, I don't think enough people are watching the show, and all of these different factors that go into it. Really, you had to watch 12 episodes of Deal or No Deal for this to be a cultural moment, right? How many people were watching this? 1 million a week, 2 million a week? It wasn't many. So if you're tuning in, if you're watching it on Peacock, whatever those numbers come out to be, there's not that many. there's what, how many million people are in America? It's insane. So when you
360 million people in
360. So when you break it down, it's like less than 1% of the population is watching this show. But that moment will now go viral in ways that will help this show. What I am very curious to see is how does the show respond? Because the whole reason we watch, and look, we're older. So if you're listening to this and you're in your 20s, if you're in your early 20s, if you're 18 listening to our podcast, we're a little bit older now. We were around when people used to tune in every single time Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was on to see if the person was going to be the first to win the million. We used to tune in every single time with Deal or No Deal to see if somebody was going to finally get the case or if they were going to bust and waste their entire moment to win like $20. We remember those types of game shows that were on TV that were must watch every week at the time it aired. The problem is nowadays, live TV is not where it's at. It's all about streaming. It used to be, it's Wednesday night, it's 8:00. We are sitting down and we are watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And that was what you did. American Idol was the same thing. It really captured that zeitgeist.
I mean,
so Deal or
they
No
all
Deal
know it
can't,
from Survivor too.
yeah, exactly. But Deal or No Deal Island like can't hit that level where it was like, oh man, we all just sat there and watched. But can this show now grow? And could the fact that David just won $5.8 million playing a game where he was comfortable the entire time, where he got to participate in fun obstacle course challenges,
he got
where
a family out of it.
Yeah, he got to eat. He got family. Very good. He got to eat. He got to hang out, essentially. Does this change what we look at with reality shows? Because a show like Survivor, where you starve and you suffer and you deal with 26 days of lying and manipulation and unhealthy things to your body and all these different things, pays you $1 million in 2025. David got 500,000 AU for winning Australian Survivor. Shannon Gus did the math on that. 18 times the amount he just won last night than what he won for Australian Survivor based on exchange rate and stuff. 18
Doesn't
times
he live
the
in
amount.
America or something? I thought you said he lived in America.
He does now, but he gets paid because he has like dual citizenship, I guess. He gets paid. You get paid. Australian Survivor pays you in Australian currency. So like if Parvati wins Australian Survivor, she's getting 500,000 AU, which is probably closer to like 350. That's why they're playing a 14-day game.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so I just like want to explain that and express that, because one of the big things when we talk about Survivor is people are always talking about how in the US version that $1 million is barely worth anything anymore. With what are you down to? 600, 550? Like it just keeps getting worse and worse every year because of inflation. And Survivor upped the ante once by giving $2 million for winners at war, but that's the only time they've done it. So when you sit here and you look at what just took place last night, do some of the other networks say, how do we do this? Or all the other networks say, thank God it wasn't us. I don't want to have to give out 5.8 million. Like, what do you think?
I mean, and then if you say the word Mr. Beast and streamer games, like they gave out $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think this is an arms race of, hello, CBS, are you paying attention? We're using all of your CBS people to make great moments on Peacock and NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any amazing NBC reality stars that we can poach for CBS? CBS is really bad at, I think this is the trend that's unfortunately making my job pretty much obsolete as a casting person of, well, what can we do? Should we take the stars of Deal or No Deal Island and invite them to our all-star extravaganza for CBS?
Mm-hmm.
I think if David is about to be on another show, how do we get David? Could he be like, how do we capitalize on this moment of he's
Summer
like
Rain
CBS
says it
better.
here. Yeah, there's going to be huge interest in Australia versus the world after this performance. Someone needs to pick it up. Like that, exactly what you're talking about there, Will. Or Blake, Jesus.
Oh my God. I'm out.
And Blake's gone. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
I guess I am backwards hat with hair coming out. This is the most Will I've ever looked like. The actual thought process, though, Summer Rain and friends, Peacock should be bending over backwards. There's going to be a lot more. I think how many people watch TV shows, and even like the challenge gets like 1 million at best, right? Let me not
The
talk about
challenge
my
is
ass.
low. Yeah, the
Let's
challenge is
do
very low.
some 2.12 million viewers watched episode 11 of this show. I know in some of these they add the DVR stuff afterwards,
Mhm.
but 2 million people, 2.73 watched the premiere. It is crazy that literally 500,000 people disappeared after that initial episode, only to show back up for whatever episode 9 was. Was episode 9 when Dr. Will went home? That'd be hilarious. Dr. Will was superstar of like just being so enthusiastic and like I want him in my crowd everywhere. The huge interest is actually it needs to be tangible enough for someone to grab the rights of like, are we going to show Australia all the time? Is it literally a mini season of like, is there an Olympics coming up?
Mhm.
Then maybe we counter program the Olympics. This is all super.
And
Who
the
cares
thing is,
about
because you
TV?
don't want to water down US Survivor. Like for CBS and Paramount to pick up Australian Survivor, now you have 24 episodes of Australian Survivor that people can get when US Survivor is not on. It's like having Christmas all year round. All of a sudden, Christmas has no meaning, right? That's the biggest issue. You don't want things to be too easily accessible because when people don't have to look forward to them and know that it's not just a one-off thing, scarcity creates oh my
Your
god.
premiere numbers probably go down for your other
Yeah,
seasons of
what is the
Survivor.
words? What are the words that I'm trying to think of? Scarcity creates demand. And so when you want it,
Invisible hand, bro.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. But like when you have less of something, people want more of it. We get 26 episodes of Survivor every year. That's why we tune in and week out every single season
Oh,
to watch it. But
imagine having 2 seasons of Big Brother a year.
no,
That would have literally blown up
and that's why they only do
everything.
one.
Like, you can only do 1 season of that because you freaking hate that show by the end of it, but then 50 50 no, let's be real, it's more like 43 weeks later, you're like, "I'm kinda craving Big Brother again," and, like,
I
because you
think
haven't been paying attention to your
I
body.
think, and I know that we're talking Deal or No Deal Island, but just I think the repercussions of David's win here are going to be felt. I think the smartest thing that CBS and Paramount could do is they pick up Australian Survivor because I'm sure with them having the rights to US Survivor, I doubt that another network can pick up Australian Survivor at this point. I doubt that they can do it and put it out because it's the same game, and I'm sure that there's some copyright,
Parvati
trademark infringement, everything like that. Here's the
Parvati,
thing.
Sari, and Tony, right?
Yes.
And now David is a 4th draw.
Yep.
Who are the other 6? Is it people or is it like
Shawnee is on there, who everybody loves. I forget who the other Australian
It's not
is.
the King George guy, or is it?
I don't think King George is on it.
Because there's 4 people where it's like I would be like, tell me, does Parvati or Sari make it to the
Mhm.
end or not? If I'm trying to buy the rights to this, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
and
does that happen or not?
and
It
I think
isn't.
oh, George is on. Okay, wow. So King George is there. So I think, from my opinion, the smartest thing that CBS and Paramount could do. I don't know when this airs. We just know it's in the summer. Let's say this airs July 1, for argument's sake. What CBS and Paramount need to do is they need to pick up the rights to Australian Survivor and say from July 1 through August 31st, you can watch AU versus the world. And after August 31st, you are on your own to find it. We are taking it off. And you create almost what Disney used to do with the vault, where Disney used to release, oh, the Lion King is coming out of the vault for a limited time, then it'll disappear. And nowadays, when it's on Disney Plus, people don't really care. They're going to buy Disney Plus for a month when they want to watch it, or people won't go to the theater to see a Disney movie because they know it's going to end up on Disney Plus. Scarcity is no longer there. So everybody knows they can just get it whenever they want. I think with what just took place on Deal or No Deal, because David is now going to be a draw, and David is amazing TV. He is amazing TV. I know that it didn't shine through all the time on Deal or No Deal Island, but he is phenomenal in Australian Survivor, and he was very good on this show for what he was able to work with. I think you have 4 massive stars. You pick it up, you do it for a limited time, and you say, if you miss that window, that's on you. That keeps it out of the hands of other networks, and it creates the urge in the summer to say, we got to sit down and we got to watch this, guys, because I don't want to watch it later. I want to watch it now. create must-see TV again, because it's too easy nowadays for, if you miss something, you just watch it. You can watch it a year later. Who cares? CBS needs to figure out how to capitalize on this, and I think that's what they have to do. And you know what? I don't think, because people were saying Peacock, I do not think that Peacock would legally be able to pick up Survivor AU versus the World because of Survivor rights in America. I highly doubt that CBS would ever allow another network to pick it up.
And now here's something that pops into my head. I really like thinking about TV academically or like the business wise sometimes too. We're on a Deal or No Deal podcast. We're 25 minutes in and we're talking about a lot of stuff besides Deal or No Deal. So this trend of stars from other networks, that I think it's now becoming we care more about David and what he's doing next instead of Deal or No Deal Island and what season 3 would be, or the Deal or No Deal civilians, as we've been calling them. We should probably call them OGs. That makes more sense. A Deal or No Deal Island OG, we don't give a shit about right now. Of like are any of these? Where's Dixon gonna go, or is Philip gonna end up on another show? Like, I'm sure the challenge is always what people have said for years of like, instead of going on one season of Survivor and never coming back, Jay can go be on the challenge 5 times and make appearance money. And like, now Jay's never, like, Jay would have been a lock for 50 of why hasn't he been on Survivor again? But it's like, we've heard every single possible story on the challenge if you want. Like, I think that's a clear identifier of scarcity or whatever. Of, I would be clamoring for Jay to be on 50. He would have been on every single list. But we know damn well maybe that was the best version of him, was on the OG Survivor, and he hasn't been on this. We need to talk about No Deal or No Deal Island. But like, I think that's the negative of relying on superstars from other franchises to be your most thing.
It's eventually you're going to run out of people.
Yes.
Because like, I truly think, and like another thing that Dalton went into, because Dalton was on location. So another thing that he went into was CK and Philip going head to head at each other over what Philip talked about in his post-game press. And honestly, like, if they air that, they are setting up the two of them to come back and play the traitors. And I'm not saying, like, I understand that it's an ugly situation, but it's the type of thing people have gotten on reality TV shows over and over again because of ugly situations.
Do we care about CK and Philip's situation?
Well, yeah, because I think it's a messed up situation. So yeah, I think we do, but I think it's interesting that NBC/Peacock decided not to. They essentially told us to have the reaction you just had, which is, do we care about this? When I think it is a very serious subject matter, and it is something that clearly was going on throughout the entirety of the season, and they just chose not to show it. And again, that's where I think Deal or No Deal Island really needs to figure out what kind of show it wants to be, because I think that there was plenty of content there between Philip and CK to create heroes, villains, things like that, to set up for future seasons. Because what's the best thing that can happen to Deal or No Deal Island? Well, AU versus the world, yes. But the best thing that can happen to Deal or No Deal Island is one of their players goes and plays the traitors. That's the best thing that happens to Deal or No Deal Island. Because if one of their players goes and plays the traitors, now all of a sudden people are saying, wait, what show is that? Oh, I've never watched that, but I like this person, so maybe I should. So it is interesting to me that they didn't lean into this more, unless it was just so ugly that they wanted nothing to do with it, which I think is probably the route they went, because they're trying to create a very fun, overly positive show that doesn't really harp on the negatives. I mean, even Dr. Will, when he's getting negative and stuff, it is in a showy kind of way rather than a very serious kind of way. And I think that the Philip and CK situation was a very serious one, and that's why they didn't show it. But all that's to say, I do think that there is potential from a Deal or No Deal Island for other shows. I mean, Philip and Dixon were going toe to toe with Parvati and David in terms of conversations, in terms of getting screen time while they were there. I don't really think that any of Dixon's confessionals were all that authentic, but what do I know? Maybe it's just the way he talks and I just didn't buy it. But like, we did see people go toe to toe. Then you have a finalist like Letty, poor Letty. I don't know why they left us on a cliffhanger last week if they were just going to spoil it in the preview for the following week. Because we see David standing and we see Letty sitting, so we know Letty doesn't win. Letty literally gets nothing in this final episode. And so we don't really hear from her, but like, you're going to tell me Sydney couldn't have done something in the future? You're going to tell me that Seychelles couldn't do something in the future? Like, I feel like there's potential, and that's what Deal or No Deal Island needs to figure out, because having this massive moment from David is great, but how do you get your people onto another show that's bigger? I think that there was potential from this cast. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see other people, but it's what you're talking about of you relying on other people to be what makes your show from other shows is what's tough. And so can Deal or No Deal Island succeed without Boston Rob, Parvati, and David? Probably not, because somebody who's not Boston Rob, Parvati, and David, even if they are those people, if you're Boston Rob and Parvati, you're not playing this the way David played it. So how do you find those crazy people? How do you find those crazy people? And I think you need to find people who have already won money, who've already won their games. And now they're not going out to play Deal or No Deal and win a couple dollars. They're going out to play Deal or No Deal and try to beat David's record. So I don't know. That was a long talk of everything. And I tried to cover a bunch of stuff, but hopefully that made sense.
It did make sense. Let's do some report card stuff.
Okay.
Let's do some A. You get an A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus. Let's stop at C plus. I don't think there's any Fs on this.
You're talking about cast?
I meant like all the elements of the show.
Okay.
Let's be as casual about this as possible. Host.
I'd probably go B plus. He's not Jeff. He's not Alan, but he's solid and he knows what he's doing.
I'm gonna go A minus. I like him a little bit better than you do. I think he attractive dude. There is that layer for women and gay men. That
big fan of Magic Mike, so that helps.
It adds a little bit. He seems very confident. I think he is reacting with real emotion, which is really nice for a host instead of being as clerical and corporate as possible. I like that. Let's do challenges.
Probably a B. They manage to do the things they want to of pitting people against each other, but sometimes they're way too convoluted and sometimes they just don't work. So I'd say some of them are A's, some of them are D's. So I'll land in the middle and call it like a B.
I'm gonna go just a C. Okay. I do think challenges, in my opinion, are the worst part. But like we said, playing the people are engaging and it has social parts in the challenge.
I have an F for this.
But yeah, the challenges don't feel like there's a high enough stakes. And I don't know if we're just shooting in a cove, Blake. What do you want from me? And it's maybe if there's a semi truck going down a runway for a plane thing and a plane flies over, that wouldn't be the craziest thing, but you do one of those and then I'm like, oh shit, okay. But like, I get the production of a Panama Cove shoot.
I go B because the Traders has these epic challenges that ultimately amount to nothing way more often than not. And so after watching that a bunch, I'm like, this is better than that. It's not Survivor, but also the concept of a lot of these challenges are better than a lot of the Survivor challenges now because they've gotten lazy with it. So I'd give it a B.
Okay.
Can I do one real quick? Can I ask
for
your report card here? Wait, no, okay. You go first. You go first. I forget what I was gonna say. You go first. I got it. I'm back because Patrick Stahl said it. Interactions between the players. It's an F.
Yeah.
It's an F. It does not explain.
I was gonna say that as general
players' fault.
I was gonna say general storytelling is what
that's a better way to put it. Yes, it's an F in my opinion. It really is, because I think leaving out the Philip and CK stuff, no matter how ugly it is, you should put it in. Look at what Survivor's on the air because of what it aired in season 1 and season 2 and season 3 and season 4 and season 5. Like, it is still on the air because it aired this, because people cheered when Roger got voted off of Amazon, right? So I think you need to have that. The storytelling between the tents, the yurts, whatever the hell they are, there is none. We hear people talk about it, but we don't see it. We don't get them having the conversations that are necessary for us to build up a love. If you don't have Parvati, if you don't have David, if you don't have Dr. Will, we don't have anybody to attach to, because you're not allowing us to get emotionally invested in any of the players out there, with the exception of one or two people early on, such as a Kim from season 1, a Sydney from this season, and then Aaron from season 1. Those are really the only players that they let us really get emotionally attached to. There's missed opportunities with Philip and Letty and CK and Dixon. Like, there's missed opportunities there. Seychelles, everything she said was gold. So why are we not seeing more of it? So I'm going to say an F. They've dropped the ball on that. And I think that's how you build up your show to become that next level, is you have to make us care about that.
Storytelling, general storytelling. I am agreeing with everything you're saying. F is pretty bad, but maybe I would go a little bit better of like C, just because I don't want these people to be discouraged. I do want them to be searching for greaterness or whatever. Like, start poaching a Survivor editor, like pay them $10,000 more than Survivor does, and like use their expertise or whatever. Like, you're in a dog eat world. I don't know anything about some of my final five still, and that's kind of crazy. Casting.
I think the casting is right. So I'm going to say the casting is a B as well, because there's some duds, but I think a lot of this goes back to the general storytelling. The people they're getting who have played other shows, Boston Rob, Parvati, David, and Dr. Will, that's an A. That's an A plus. That's all worked perfectly. It's not that they're casting poorly. They're just not giving them enough to do, which goes back to the general storytelling. So I'm going to say B, because I don't know Lachelle. I don't know Storm. I don't know MG. I should, but I don't. I don't know Rock. I don't think that those four people aren't necessarily good TV, but there was nothing for them to work with here. So, yeah.
Casting for me, I'm going to go a little bit worse, B minus. I think the idea of we are pitching up this 4-person alliance as the family, and most of the storylines going through them was okay, there's got to be something else to tie into. I do think there was standouts of the OGs, but most of them were ultimately like, why have these people not been on Survivor? Why have these people not been on Big Brother? Well, maybe they weren't strong enough for those shows, or I don't know if they applied, but it is something to me of like, some of these people were not as engaging. Or could you watch, if Rock got to the end, would we be cheering as much as him as David? Like, Rock is clearly a outliner, and I'm like, it's not rude, but it is kind of like, there's some people that thank God they went home early for story reasons, but not thank God because their whole life didn't get the money. I think there is some stuff of, once my favorite celebrity went home, it did dampen my enthusiasm for this. But if Dr. Will had just won $5.8 million, I'd be like, this is the greatest show of all time. And I know for some people, David is their Dr. Will. So congrats on him winning and doing this. Overall fun factor.
Overall fun? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, fun factor, if even.
I would say B plus on that. I think the show is fun. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think that Deal or No Deal is always a fun game, even if it's the least exciting part of the show. I think you're watching challenges. You're getting little snippets that are, catty and whatever. And like, I enjoy this is a great show for me, that on Wednesday mornings, because I'm not able to watch it Tuesday nights, and that's why we podcast Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon. But on Wednesday mornings, I turn it on, I watch it very half-assly, and I like that. I think that is fun. It's not like the challenge where I have to know 75 years of history between all the castaways. It's not like Survivor, where I really want to be focusing on every little detail and every move they're going to make. And it's not like The Traitors, where I feel like it's just like, why is this an episode an hour and 7 minutes long when it could have been 45? Could have been an email. They made it a meeting. So I'd give it a B plus.
Fun factor for me, I'm gonna also. You haven't said A a lot yet. I'm gonna go A minus. I think there's three times where I was like, this is crazy. Of the finale, Dr. Will's Deal or No Deal episode, and then Dixon's Deal or No Deal episode, where I was like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Dr. Will's Deal or No Deal episode was hilarious. Like, I remember being in that moment being like, why do I love this show so much? This is amazing. And like, some of those moments have gone toe to toe with, I'm not going to be like Operation Italy, but like, wow, this episode is going up against the best episodes of Survivor for my personal enjoyment. Well, how is that happening? Like, Survivor has a 25-year head start, so they have something here, but how do they make it it's almost impossible for them to do that 7 episodes in a row because they're putting out clear stars. Those clear stars are having their clear deal or no deal star moments. Even the betrayal of David to Dr. Will is an interesting moment. I think one thing that I would say to this production team, even though I'm not in charge, is if we put all this stuff that we have our thing, I guess it's more the social media team. The social media team is the only thing that, like, for me, they were manufacturing hype instead of just showing the hype moments and letting the fans or audience take it for what it is. Being like, Parvati is on an 8-win streak
Yeah.
or safe streak. Like, I don't really see Parvati as a challenge beast in my mind because I watched her on Deal or No Deal. I think she played a great middle game and sticking or whatever into whatever we're doing. But like, the hype of the show should come from the fans, just like, which is hard in 2025.
Well,
I get it, but
yeah.
I think that's I was having fun, and then for some reason when they were like, "Isn't Parvati iconic?" I was like, I mean, I'm watching the show, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't think this is the best iteration of Parvati, and I'm tired of the like. I'm not a fan of the family, and I would say if you watch the show and you gravitated towards the family, you got paid off with your winner. But most traditional survivor slash reality TV watchers, I think we were supposed to root against the family the whole time, and then the family wins, and you're like, okay, well, oh well.
Yeah. I
But
have
imagine Letty playing the finals. She takes the 1.2 million and goes home.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine, but David made it more exciting. But I got 2 more for you that I want to do, and then let's wrap this up because we got Patreon stuff to do nonstop now for the rest of the afternoon, Blake. So remember, keep your voice ready. I got 2 for you. Number 1, the banker. Chrissy Teigen is the banker this season. It's a non-factor. Howie Mandel was the banker on the first season. It's a non-factor. It's a way to get a celebrity involved who was involved with the original show. To me, that's like a C- because it literally has no effect on the game, but it's also like, I'm not mad about it. It doesn't ruin the game. So I'm just like, yeah, sure, C-.
The aura, I don't know what I'm saying right here. The aura or the like, are you trying to goad your contestants? Are you trying to make your contestants feel worse when you're like, remember the banker hates bitches, and you're like, wait, what? Like, is this just we're playing with the producers and like, Joe, say you're being pretty stupid by taking the, like, it's almost like you can almost influence your contestants when you're not supposed to be able to do this, and just go, well, the banker told me scared money don't make money, is like, okay. So I would almost want to go like, is the banker's important because it's always been important of Deal or No Deal Island, but I think toning it down on the bank thinks you're an absolute loser, it would be my, like, let's do that a little bit.
And then my other one is rewatchability of the show, because I think that's important for building up a show. You can sit down, you can rewatch Big Brother. I rewatch Survivor all the time, and we're rewatching Gabon right now. We rewatch, people rewatch The Challenge. Is there rewatchability for Deal or No Deal Island, and what grade would you give it?
Well, currently I haven't rewatched it. I will. I think what I would tell people, I would never do this for Survivor. I would never say you only have to watch these 3 episodes and you get all of the juice.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah,
and I don't think I would ever. I
know everything.
I don't think I would ever say to anybody the thought process of, you need to watch episode 3 of Survivor Gabon, you need to watch episode 10 of Survivor Gabon, and then the finale of Survivor Gabon, and you have the whole story, unless they were like, unless they asked me, I need 3 episodes. Why did blank win? Because we're watching the season after, and I need to know so it doesn't get spoiled for me.
Yeah,
I would never say, like, in this game, do you need to watch Luke's episode? Do you need to watch Rock's episode? Do you need to watch Sydney's episode? I just forgot Sydney's episode.
You don't need to watch Storms.
Like,
yeah.
It is kind of, you could start at final. There's only like 14. You could start at final 9. You get the Will terrorizes people. You get the Will goes home, and then you don't lose anything if you start at final 9. But they need that runway to start hating each other and start bickering or whatever.
I think that it has very low rewatchability. Very low rewatchability. It's a fun show. There's
We're
good
not saying
characters.
A pluses at all though. And
I
but
didn't
like,
give any A's. No, I didn't need to. I'm being honest. I didn't.
what about general podcastability with your BFF?
A plus plus plus.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
I tried to watch casually.
Yeah,
Didn't
for the
work.
whole season.
And it
For the whole-
didn't. I think I still tried to look at it from academics and from 45 seasons of Survivor, and that's not very. It's not very. It doesn't help Deal or No Deal Island that it's on an island like Survivor is.
Mhm.
It's almost like
And it's using
Deal
Survivor players.
Deal or No Deal City would
Yeah.
be a crazy, like, that's the third season, or Deal or No Deal Arctic Bunker of Deal or No like Survivor has never been in the snow. Deal or No Deal Arctic Bunker is gonna go to Greenland and shoot where you've never seen before, and the banker is gonna be the Bear Grylls, and then you're like, oh shit.
That is one way to look at it, Deal or No Deal Island. If you're listening, maybe take Blake's advice. I don't know about that. But anyway, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed our coverage this season. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll be back if there's a Deal or No Deal Island 3, if David didn't bankrupt the entire network.
I think you're going to wait a while.
Yeah. So we'll be back. But if you want to check out Survivor coverage, we got tonight, Will and I are recapping the next episode of Survivor. Blake and I'll be doing Digger Deeper tomorrow. I'm going to have Saul on the podcast on Sunday. Just don't know what time yet, so that'll be fun. And if you haven't checked out our Australian Survivor coverage, go check it out. McKenna and I did a recap of last week's episodes. If you want to become a patron, patreon.com/thespecialist, covering a lot of Australian Survivor over there. And we're diving into Gabon starting on Thursday for our top tier patrons. So thank you all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.